What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how are we doing on this very fabulous day?
Well, when I woke up Saturday, I thought we might have a bad show come today. But after losing the first two, Yankees won the next two. Gerrit Cole's a beast, best pitcher in baseball. Doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I can't complain. Had a very wild weekend on Twitter. Stanton's hurt, but Cole is great. So, we have a mix of good and bad to talk about.
You
Big
had a wild
episode
weekend
today.
on Twitter. Is that what I heard? I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with what you're talking about.
yeah, we'll talk about it. But
Yeah, we will.
before we get into today's episode, big shout out to our sponsor, Foco, bro. They have the best Yankees merchandise in the game. Yankees Avenue, 15% off your order. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. But Dan, let's start off with topic number one, and that is Giancarlo Stanton has suffered a grade 2 hamstring strain. Not an ideal situation for the Yankees, just for the sole purpose of kind of what we've talked about for so long. And we previewed this when we looked at the Yankees lineup coming into the season. And I said that the Yankees were 1 to 2 big injuries away in their lineup to having just not a good major league lineup at all. And now you're looking at a loss of Giancarlo Stanton. I think that does numbers to just the potential of this offense. And you're looking at a lineup that already wasn't a strength of this team. And now you're losing Stanton, who's had one of the best starts to a season in his career, and losing him for 4 to 6 weeks. I think the current timetable is, if the Yankees are lucky. It's just not an ideal situation whatsoever.
Yeah, it's awful. Absolutely awful. And when the news first broke this morning, I was like kind of trying to be optimistic until we heard the report, because 2021, I always call back to it. Stan went on IL with whether it was a hamstring strain or quad strain. It was a grade 1. He was able to come back literally at the end of the 10-day. With this, though, yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. That's horrible. It's a grade 2. And so we're looking at a Yankee lineup without Stan through, man, well into June at the least, I would say. And it sucks, dude. It really does. Like you said, off to a great start, 4 homers so far, 854 OPS, and overall has just looked phenomenal at the plate. And, every year you kind of go in. We were lucky enough to get it for one in 2021, but wondering if Stanton, this will be the year that he'll stay healthy and we'll see him put it all together. This concerns me, man. It really does. And kind of like what you said in the beginning about the Yankee lineup, I had a similar take, but mine was the Yankee lineup right now at full health is good enough to get by until the deadline. And with that, I meant good enough, I thought, to win the AL East, essentially. But when one injury happens, we're screwed. And this is that one injury, and it's a big one, man. It really is. Now, they've called up Peraza. We'll see how much he plays. Josh Donaldson comes back on Wednesday. And specifically on that note, Donaldson, he has to ball out, man. Like, you want to prove that you're still a big league caliber player, that you're still worthy of being a Yankee, come out and show it. He has to hit. He has to essentially, obviously, not replace Stanton lineup. That's not really that possible. But you can't be just a lifeless bat that produces nothing for this offense, because we need every run we can get right now. And I think Volpe now is the mainstay in the leadoff spot, which props the Yankees for doing that. If that's what they end up doing, you need DJ in the 5-hole. So we're pretty much looking at Volpe, Judge, Rizzo, Glaber, DJ. That's okay. But the length of lineup that follows, I mean, who's your next best hitter after that? Waldo, who's good. I like Waldo, but he hasn't been amazing this year. You get Bader back. We'll see what happens with him. But, dude, this is a tough blow, dude. Really tough blow. Horrible.
But it's also something that we knew was coming, right? I mean, when we looked at that the 3 guys of Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, and we said that these 3 guys need to stay healthy the entire season. And you're looking at 2 of which who are kind of injury prone, in Rizzo with his back, which to me, it kind of feels like, he's going to hit the IL at some point this season for his back. And then Stanton, who I guess we kind of say now he's injury prone.
Stan, real quick, he is the opposite of what, how I always defended Judge, as in barely any soft tissue injuries. It's only bone issues. Your only issue is that Judge doesn't drink enough milk. It's the opposite with Stan. His are pure injury prone injuries where the soft tissue, hamstring, groin, all that. It's very rarely a fluke. So yeah, I guess you definitely could have expected this, but go on.
Yeah. And I guess kind of like just what I'm getting at here is the fact that I hate to keep going back to it, but I look at the offseason. When the Yankees, we said it all offseason, they needed to add another impact bat just for this reason, because you can't expect your 3 best hitters to stay healthy all season. You don't really have much bang outside of that. The fact that they didn't, it's coming around to bite them now. And hopefully their lineup can stay afloat in the American League East long enough until maybe Stanton comes back and he can provide a jolt to their lineup, or they make a big move at the deadline, hopefully, for an impact bat, and maybe Anthony Volpe steps up at the leadoff spot. Like, the Yankees just need, 1, a lot of step ups, and 2, just a lot of things to swing in their favor for the time being. just because I'm looking at their lineup and I don't think it's good enough. Like, if the Yankees go into the postseason with this lineup, I just think it's another early exit.
And they won't, unless, there's more injuries that pop up. But I do believe in the Yankees that they'll get another bat. Stanton will be back at some point. But another concern I have with that is something I've talked about a lot, whether it's his preview or just in general with him. When Stan's back, he's not back. It's going to say he comes back June 15th, let's say, which might be a miracle. Who knows?
Yeah.
You're probably not getting Giancarlo Stanton almost till the second half begins, like a month later. And that is because the IL rust affects him more than anybody. I mean, he looks like he doesn't belong in the big leagues when he comes back, which is fine if, he's good for the playoffs and we make his playoffs and it's not an issue in the end. But this is going to be a race this year, dude. This is going to be a race. And I'm realizing it more and more, which I knew going in. I have the Yankees win the AL East, or I had them still do by a couple games. The Blue Jays are good. The Rays, obviously, we know are, whether they're legit or not, they're in the mix now with that, the way they started. Sure. Hilarious, by the way. They face a real team and then lose 2 out of 3 instantly. I'm not sure if they won on Sunday or not, but
they did.
Regardless, it's going to be a race. Losing Stan, I'll say, I said it before, it's not a situation where he can just come back from the playoffs and save us, because we got to kind of get there first in terms of winning the AL East. A Yankee lineup without Giancarlo Stanton for half the year, it's going to be tough, dude. We'll have to see what happens, but not ideal. Not ideal, man.
It's less than ideal.
Far less than ideal. At least we won. We won the last 2 games of the series, though. So vibes are a little okay right now because we're 10-6. Nice record, by the way. I'm obsessed with 10-6 for the longest time because you can like equate it to a football season. Not anymore, but 10-6. You'd be like, oh, they're 160. So you have that to run with. I was kind of trying to give you a transition there, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, if you want to look on the bright side of things, Gerrit Cole looks absolutely dominant. Complete game shutout against Minnesota Twins on Sunday.
Sunday, dude.
But overall, I'm looking at Gerrit Cole starts the 2023 season. I believe it's a 0.95 ERA, leads the AL in innings. Also, 0 home runs allowed, which is kind of the biggest thing of the start to the season. A guy who has been home run prone his entire career, hasn't given up a single one to start the season.
Especially that's the one thing that plagued him last year was just the long ball.
Exactly. And that's why I'm asking the question now. Is this the best Gerrit Cole has looked in his Yankee career? And not only that, is this the best version of Gerrit Cole that we've seen in his entire career?
I'm with you. Well, you didn't say a point yet, but I am going to say, yes, this is definitely the best we've seen as a Yankee. Now, I do have to mention that to begin 2021, he was absolutely lights out. I remember entering that year, I finally kind of waved the white flag, which I always joked about, but to my Mets fan friend was like, nah, DeGrom is better than Cole. And then he got off that start he got in 21. It was like, nah, actually they are on the same level. Cole might even be better. Then you have the spider tack thing happen. And though it's definitely overblown, he fell off just a little bit after that. Wasn't horrible, but also wasn't as good as he was the first 2 months. Last year, mentioned the home run ball, was good, great in the playoffs, but regular season wise had a 3.5 ERA. That's whether you like him or not. That's not the ace that we paid for. I wasn't mad at him. I understood it's still not a bad season, but what we're watching right now, this is what we dreamed of when we signed him to that 9-year deal. This is the Gerrit Cole that was pitching in Houston. This is the Gerrit Cole that I think is the best pitcher in baseball, legitimately. So with that said, best pitcher in baseball, yeah, like this has to be the best he's ever been. Granted, it's 4 starts, a lot more to come, but just in terms of how he looks and his composure, his demeanor, everything seems different. I think a part of it may be in play because of the pitch clock. I think him not having as much time to think really, really helps him. And just in general, dude, I feel like, and this kind of went back to last year, we've talked about it, but in the ALCS, you see him where he normally may have had a blow up over or just give a look, Judge and Bader make an error in center. What does he say right after? He points at him and says, I got you. I feel the postseason kind of showed a different Gerrit Cole, and we're seeing that continue into this year to where he's not going to let anything get to him. Even in the postgame interviews after, he seems like he's having the most fun of his life. Early on watching the postgame on Yes, I'd never seen Gerrit Cole laugh that hard. And, you throw a complete game shut, I understand he'd be pretty happy, but it's cool to see not only him pitch this well, but kind of look at reasons to why he is pitching this well, to where like this could continue. So yeah, best pitcher in baseball, bro.
I agree with everything you said. And I think the key point of what you said is the pitch clock, because I think that definitely has a lot to do with it. I think we mentioned it a little bit in the past, but Gerrit Cole is just one of those guys where I think that he's sometimes his own worst enemy, right? Especially on the mound. I think he gets in his own head. Let's say he gives up a home run. Like, I think that messes with his rhythm a little bit. Now with the pitch clock, he doesn't really have time to think. And I forgot, maybe I was watching MLB Network or something, but I think they said the same thing about Pete Alonso, right? Because he's off to an insane start of the season, whether you like him or not. And he's one of those guys too, kind of gets in his own head in the batter's box. And people think that the pitch clock, batter clock, whatever you want to call it, is helping him. So I think that Gerrit Cole is kind of that same animal in terms of, he's a beast on the mound, but I think sometimes being a beast on the mound can hurt you if you have too much time to think. So I think working quick, and I also think just, bro, the start to the season in general is the best that we've seen Gerrit Cole, not only mentally, but also on the field as well.
Absolutely. And especially with Cole going into the whole pitch timer thing again, he's so smart. He's without question, to me, from what I've seen, the smartest pitcher in baseball, just in terms of like pitching IQ, which is a good thing, of course. But dude, I feel like, kind of going to the whole point we said, with the clock, if you or without the clock, you have so much time to think about what you should throw that, yeah, it definitely gets in his head. With the clock now, you just pitch. It's kind of like you're in Little League again. You get the ball and you throw. And Cole's every single one of his pitches. It's funny, me and my boy, shout out Nelson, we were talking before about like what's Cole's best pitch, and we were kind of agreeing on it that it's the fastball. But you could pretty much make an argument that when he's on, which is pretty much all the time, every single one of his pitches could be the best pitch in his arsenal. So when that's the case, just throw the ball. And that's what he's doing with the clock. I love it, man. When was the last time too you saw Gerrit Cole like laugh, smile, do anything like that mid-game? We saw it twice today.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that could be like a good thing and a bad thing. Smiling,
You're
right?
a punk, bro. This is unbelievable. You're not about to say this right now, bro. What? How about this? How about this? I bet you, bro, because when he first was smiling with Trevino, making that little like joke, whatever they're talking about, that led to him giving up the perfect game or the no-hitter. Sure. He gave him a single right after. The first person I thought about was you, Pat. You were probably like, "Don't smile, Cole."
Don't smile. No, it's not like don't smile, Cole, but it's more so. It's a completely different. We'll talk about.
We'll talk about. I'm totally messing with you, but yes.
But basically, what I'm trying to say is like I'm happy that we're seeing like just Gerrit Cole in a good mental state, right? Because whether he's dog Gerrit Cole, because I can guarantee you in the playoffs we're not going to see like smiley, goofy Gerrit Cole,
right?
But if like that's what helps him get the job done in the regular season, bro, so be it.
Yeah, and I know I said that I think it began last season, but because he had that great postseason, that I'm sure took a huge fucking monkey off his back as well. Sure. Like that, there's a very nice equation being added up to right now with Gerrit Cole, and the output is kind of what we're saying, the best pitcher in baseball.
He's just cute. Like that's the only way I can describe Gerrit Cole is he's
You're using
cute.
that word a lot lately, but
he's adorable. Like even when he's standing in the dugout munching on his banana, bro, it's adorable.
He eats it very, very weirdly. But apparently, I remember last year I tweeted about it. I was like, because not what he did today, but last year there's a clip of him eating the banana from the other side down, like what I consider to be the wrong side. And I tweeted about it. I was like, why does Gerrit Cole eat his banana that way? So many people, it shocked me. They're like, no, that's how you eat banana. That's how monkeys do it.
I don't eat
Which was a horrible point, by the way. Like, who said monkeys own bananas? I understand they eat them as their main food, but like,
thing.
No, but like, do I own the cheeseburger? I have like 3 burgers almost every day, to be honest with you. I'm trying to cut on that. I had to chill on the fast food, but yeah, dude.
Hi, Marley.
Whatever you want to say. Hi, Marley. Love him.
All right, let's get into topic number 3. And another guy that's off to a pretty good start this season, DJ freaking LeMahieu. I feel like it's been a while since when we've been able to really talk good about DJ. So let's do it. Let's give him a little pat on the back. So far this season, he has an 817 OPS in 11 games.
Hey, can you read some updated stats for Christ's sake? 896 OPS, pal. Updated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at Baseball Reference.
Well, that's the thing. For the folks at home, understand Fangraphs and Baseball Reference, you'll never have the updated stats till the next day. So if you want up to the minute, MLB at bat. I'm being a pal. 896 OPS. 896.
Sure. Even better, right?
Exactly.
So batting in that 5 hole with Volpe now being the Yankees' everyday leadoff guy, I'm assuming. I'm liking what we've seen from DJ just because, I mean, especially with the absence of Stanton now, you're going to need his presence in the middle of that lineup. And I think he kind of provides like a middle of the order switch. You know what I mean? Because we're so used to DJ being that leadoff guy. He's like a second leadoff guy. I know we kind of view like the second leadoff guy in the 9 hole, but now it kind of feels like, the Yankees have another leadoff guy in the middle of the lineup. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, what I think you're kind of leading to, and something I think is going to happen, I think if you keep DJ in the 5 hole, he probably has 100 RBIs this year. And what's great about that is, with Volpe in the leadoff spot, you have him, of course, probably getting on quite frequently and then stealing bases. Judge gets on, Rizzo gets on, and then now Glaber as well. He can drive the guys in, Glaber Torres, and then, you can almost set the table right away again. And kind of what you're saying with the double leadoff in the 5 spot. DJ can drive in runs while also setting the table for what's a pretty weak bottom of the order. But yeah, man, I think he looks great. He's going to the opposite field a lot. Hit a homer this series as well. Yeah, 896 OPS, man. It's good to see it. It really is. I was concerned with, he was out for 3 days with the quad issue. And I was like, all right, here we go. DJ's going to be hurt. And even if he comes back and plays, who knows if he's actually going to be all that effective. right away, dude. Going to the opposite field, 2 RBI singles to right, that homer. He looks great, dude. He really is. And with Stanton going down, like, it's huge to have DJ back.
You know how like before the season we did a lot of like over-unders?
We did do a lot of over-unders. Too many, to be honest with you.
Let's do an over-under.
Okay.
Let's bring one back. So does DJ LeMahieu finish this season with over or under an 825 OPS?
I'm going over, dude. I'm going over. I know I brought it up a million times, but through last year, until that toe injury in early August, he had an OPS, I believe, around like 840, 850. Now, I don't think the power is ever going to return to 25 homer power like we saw in 19 and 20, but I think he's more than capable of hitting 15 homers while batting around 300, OBP around 400. And like I said, if he's in the five spot doing that, with the guys in front of him get on base like crazy and Volpe making all the noise like he does, I think you're very like you could see a 100 RBI DJ LeMahieu, which would be pretty sick.
Yeah, like I said, especially
I love RBIs, by the way. I still do. Like, I don't use them to like make a full point in an argument, but when a player gets 100 RBIs, I'm like, oh,
it's
that's
cool.
Nice. It's cool. I think it's awesome. I'd rather do that. Would you rather drive in 100 or bat 300?
I'd rather bat 300.
Really? No, I'd rather drive in 100.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what's your you going over or under?
I am going. Everyone's gonna be like, "Pat, you're being pessimistic." I'm gonna go under, but not by a lot. You know,
over 800.
Yes, I think like just like give me like 807, and I think anything if I see DJ LeMahieu finish off the season with an OPS in the 8s, I'll be very, very happy.
If he's healthy, he'll do
even
it.
If it's 801. It makes such a difference, bro. OPS is just one of those things where if I see a guy with a 797 OPS or a guy with an 804, it makes all the difference in the world. It's basically like that 300 line for batting average. You know?
And that's why, because, and I'm not sure how many people think this way that watch the show, but for any of those who may think I'm like crazy or just the idea that batting average doesn't matter, it's not that it's entirely useless, but if you want to look at one stat to determine is a player productive offensively, OPS is a pretty good way to go. Either that or weighted runs created plus, OPS plus, essentially because what does batting average really tell you? I mean, you could bat 300, but just hit singles. Whereas on base percentage shows you, of course, including walks, and then you have slugging as well, which are the more important hits, doubles, triples, homers. All of that into one is OPS. So just being able to read that simple, I'm with you. I think it's like my favorite set.
I was going to say, look at Luis Arraez. Like, bro, the dude bats like 350. And
so, I mean, Arraez is still, yes, he doesn't really walk. He's still a very productive hitter, but I mean, the easy argument is who did Judge lose a Triple Crown to last year? Arraez. He had a better batting average, but who was obviously way more productive hitter? Even if Judge only batted 250 last year while hitting 60 home runs, he's the way more productive hitter despite having the lower average. We kind of got off on a tangent there.
Yeah.
Yo, I keep doing this, by the way. You know, I always like put my headphones in like more because they get loose. I'm not wearing headphones today, so I keep just like touching my ears like an idiot. But what?
That's fine. No, I mean, I think if you didn't call it out, I don't think anybody would have noticed. Just to be honest,
that's always how it goes too. I feel like guys don't point things out because they probably go unnoticed.
Yeah, it's fine.
You have to say something like, "Why are you leaning into the camera all serious?"
No, because I was gonna bring up something else, and it was like a little mini topic. But Aroldis Chapman has yet to give up a run this season.
I know he has like a .35 whip, by the way.
Yeah,
he's not just not allowing runs; he's been pretty insane. We got to talk about Foco too, by the way. Don't forget.
Yeah. Quick shout out to Foco, our sponsor of the Yankees Avenue Show. They have the best Yankees merchandise out there, bro. Look at this short sleeve hoodie. The temperature is like, bro, we're like hitting 70s a little bit. Perfect time for a short sleeve hoodie. I rocked this all day today. It's like, bro, sometimes it's like too cold for a t-shirt, but too warm for a hoodie. So this is the way to go. Yankees Avenue. Use that code, 15% off your order. Dan, you have any goodies?
Well, I want to show off this because I always do. I think it's the dopest bobblehead around, but I'll throw it on the screen. They're releasing a new one, the Don Larson Yogi Berra Perfect Game bobblehead. Absolutely sick, guys. Code Yankees Avenue, 20% off if you want to, 15% off if you want to get that. Pat, the first thing I said to you today was that's a nice ass t-shirt or whatever it is, jersey. It looks like jersey vibes. Is it?
It feels like a jersey. Bro,
okay, it looks like the spring training from the 90s jerseys, like the 42 Mo one that you have.
Yo, I have a hood.
Oh, nice. The first thing I said to you anyways was that's dope. Why don't I have one? So Foco, come on.
Yo,
what's good?
You know, like how Yankee fans love to do like hoodie everything. If you guys are like a dedicated listener of this show, I'm going to screenshot this, post it on Twitter, #HoodiePat.
Maybe you should finally change your damn name to Hoodie Pat.
No.
Oh, that was like a 2019 Colt. Good times. But
yeah. Let's get into topic number 4. Dan, let's talk about the man himself, Aaron Hicks. Now, we came into the season, both of us were super high on Hicks, right? I mean, I don't want to say super high, but we were super willing to give him another chance. Sure. I was ready to give him another chance this season, and I was I was hopeful that he was going to be able to rebound. Did I think it was going to happen? Not necessarily, but I was hopeful he would be able to.
Yeah.
He hasn't. He's been absolutely atrocious this season. I mean, this isn't his updated number, but through 9 games, he was batting 158, 358 OPS. Maybe you have more updated numbers.
136 through 10 games, 310 OPS.
Okay,
but all
even
the
worse.
story is the same. Yes.
The storyline is that he's just been atrocious to start this season. And now I'm kind of looking at it, and it goes back to what we were saying in the offseason, right? Like, this just isn't working for either side. Aaron Hicks is not going to succeed in New York. However, he was going to be on the roster this season, so we were going to hope that he was going to do well. Yep. It's not going to happen. I think it's just awful for both sides at this point, and I think especially with Stanton out now, it's going to be really difficult for the Yankees to dump him somewhere just because they need the outfield depth. So now I'm kind of like looking at it, and I think the second chance is up. So where do the Yankees go from here regarding Aaron Hicks?
Yeah, so he's been horrible so far, of course, and I don't want to I'm not coming off as sympathetic for him, hopefully, because pretty much what I was going to say was he hasn't been put in the best situation to succeed. I do not care about that, though, after his moan job comments about it. So I kind of lost all sympathy about that. I don't really care in a way. His roster spot is saved, I believe, with Stanton going on the IL. I still wonder how they're going to get him playing time. I mean, with Donaldson coming back and IKF right now seems to be just the backup center fielder. You still have Waldo on the roster. Peraza's up as well. So I kind of still wonder, where's Aaron Hicks playing? And with that being the case, not really much of a chance for a rebound. So I'm kind of sorry if there's a boring take. It's just kind of similar to where I was last week or 2 weeks ago when we talked about it. I think the end is inevitable. It's just a matter of when, not if. I think it'll be at some point this year. I'll stick to my prediction that he's not a Yankee after the deadline, whether that's DFA, trade, or what. Who won't be on the roster especially come October?
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And I think kind of when you started off your point by saying you don't want to come across as being sympathetic, I feel like I am coming across as being sympathetic.
I was in that. Sorry, go on.
I feel like I am sympathetic for Aaron Hicks just for the sole purpose of he's in a position to fail right now. He was in a position to fail last year. And now I think coming into this year, maybe there was hope that things were going to be able to turn around, but I think it's just very clear and very evident now. Every time his name in the lineup, it's kind of just destined for just boo,
Yeah, listen, I mean, hey, I might be going my first Yankee game this week of the year. Not sure. Am I going to boo him? Hell no. Absolutely not. But if Aaron Hicks handled himself the way IKF has about his role, if Aaron Hicks handled it the same way, I would still kind of have that optimistic viewpoint. But yeah, right now I'm kind of just ready for it to be over. And it's nothing personal against him, but I've lost much of my rooting interest for him because of, and it's not like he said anything horrible. It wasn't terrible, but he's done nothing to win us over, and he just hasn't looked good. So nothing personal. I just think the end is near.
I agree. But speaking of saying something horrible.
Yeah. How about this, yo? I think we should talk about this one, Pat. You caused a little bit of controversy on the Twitter this weekend. Is that what you did?
So let's address the Twitter controversy. For those of you who may not know, and if you've been living under a rock, I caused a little drama on Twitter this weekend. And I'm going to be honest with you, Dan, I didn't think it was going to stir up this much drama. I got pissed on by Marcus Stroman. Had a nice comeback, though. We'll get into that. But I tweeted out, I said, Anthony Volpe smiling after the Yankees' worst loss of the season. I think I said, it annoys me that he was smiling after the game. Now, this comes from a pure point of, it's also something I brought up on the show before, right?
You have.
At some point, I get a little bit annoyed with oh, I'm just happy to be here kind of thing, the happy giggly stuff. I know first career home run, I know it's his first couple games in the majors, but I'm looking at it from my perspective, right? I'm pissed off that the Yankees lost. As I do, I'm sickly emotionally attached to the New York Yankees. So every time they lose, bro, I get pissed off. That's just what happens. So then when I turn on the post game and I see Volpe all happy and smiley, it just annoys me a little bit. So I took to Twitter. I said that. I didn't say yo, Volpe shouldn't be doing this. Oh, Volpe's a loser. All I said was unpopular opinion. This makes me a little bit annoyed. And people had an absolute field day with it, bro. I got so much hate. It's not even funny. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think it was that serious of a situation. That. All that was my opinion. And people were pissed off about it.
All right. I'll speak now. There's a lot of layers to this, so I hope I get through it all. First and foremost, I always have your back. So that was that thing. I didn't want to, those wondering why I didn't make a statement on Pat's fucking tweet. That is why. He's my fucking dog. And also, like you said, in the end, it's not that big a deal. We've all had bad takes. Pat, I think, has had way worse takes than that. And he does have bad takes like that every single week, to be honest with you. Just kidding. But I thought when you first tweeted it, all right, Pat is mad because the Yankees lost. And I was in a bad spot too. I wasn't talking to anybody for like 20 minutes. I was with like a decent amount of people after that loss. And I was shut down. I've had angry tweets after a game. I get that. I think it's a crazy take, by the way. I think you're absolutely insane. Doubling down on it the next day with your edited video, with your my response and your Conor McGregor vibes, all of that. I literally, when I saw that, at first, not even against the video itself, but like I couldn't really even finish the video. I was like, Pat, what the hell are you doing? And that's why I tweeted out saying, bruh. That was my response to Pat for those who wanted a response out of me. With that said, while I think you're absolutely insane and it's a crazy take, like it's not by any means the end of the world. And the reaction was quite crazy. For anybody sending Pat death threats, if that's the case, you might be a little bit unhinged. See what I did there? Hey, maybe you guys get along. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, you're absolutely insane. You'll continue to be insane because that's who you are. But it just comes from you being a passionate fan that was upset about the loss. I don't think it's that big a deal.
But I also think, like, with the follow-up response video, I think it was just as simple as, like, I didn't think it was something that was worthy of being apologized for. And it was also a take where, while it was heat of the moment, like, it's something that, like,
You do feel.
It's something I felt for sure. And I think it's going to happen again. Like, if the Yankees lose and Volpe's like doing a post game and he's like,
okay,
oh, smile.
Let's talk about that real quick. So Volpe was asked a question about his first big league home run. No matter what, automatically he's going to smile. And if because he's a smiley kid, if he went 0 for 4, or just in general, nothing happened, no first big league home or any of that, and the Yankees just lost and he's doing that, it's not anywhere near as crazy, in my opinion. You saying that, having that feeling. I think what should have happened is, as you're tweeting that, like, it registers in your head is like, all right, he did just hit his first big league homer, 21 years old. Maybe this isn't it, but that's just how you feel. And you tweet it, which is what you should continue to do. When I saw the double down video, I was like, all right, this gets fucking crazy. Like, that's just all my only thought. It's fine. That's who you are. And that's good. I'd rather you, and this is, I actually had a response written out to somebody when they asked me for a response. Like, I would much rather have you tweet out your actual opinion and it be controversial than you not tweet out how you actually feel and just try to, like, be aligned with how everybody else feels. You know what I mean? Like, that would be whack. Like, is that what you guys want? Well, here's the thing. This is the point I'm also trying to make. It is controversial in the baseball world, but that's all it is. Like, it's a tweet about a baseball game. It means absolutely nothing. None of this stuff means anything. Pat's going to go on. I'm going to go on. We're going to continue to do the show, and we'll have takes that you guys disagree with. I mean, listen, if you guys were to turn on this show and want to listen to takes that are just vanilla and don't have any substance to them and or what everybody else thinks, you're crazy. Like, why would you do that? That would kind of defeat the purpose of doing a show. So people have takes. It's not that big a deal, but you're fucking crazy.
Let me just say one last thing about the situation. I think also what it stems from is, I don't know if you know this, I love Kobe Bryant, bro. And like, sometimes at night, like, I'll just sit down and like watch like Kobe Bryant interviews, like, you know, like his motivational speeches. Mm-hmm. And bro, like, the one thing that sticks out to me the most always is, I think it was after like game 2 of the 2009 finals. And the reporter asked him, like, Kobe, like, when are we going to see a smile from you? Like, you're up 2-0. He's like, what is there to smile about? Like, job's not finished, bro.
Dude,
like,
I'm with you. I think
that's why, like, no, I do want to say, like, that's just, I have to understand, like, that's not like a right or wrong, but that's like the mentality that I love to go through with my life. And sure, like, it might be bad because like you don't get to celebrate certain accomplishments, but I'm always on what's next. I'm always looking at the next W. And that's why I just can't be happy at all for any loss. And I think sometimes like that could get misconstrued with like me hating on something, you know?
I get that. I think there's exceptions though. Volpe, that's an exception. Probably really just about the only exception. Other than that, you know how pissed I get about people smiling. One of my favorite clips of all time is 2012. Yankees win the AL East. Everybody's celebrating like crazy. You know, big deal. Won the AL East, going to the playoffs, all that. The best shot though, they zoom in on Jeter. No expression, no smile, no nothing, because you haven't done anything yet. I get that vibe, and I'm very, very similar with that. You know, pissed at Sonny Gray. I was pissed at Aroldis Chapman when he would do it. Greg Bird too. That shit is unacceptable 99% of the time. Volpe's a big leaguer, or just became a big leaguer. He's a smiling kid. First big league homer. I mean, it was asked about the question too. If he started the interview like all, you know, wide-eyed and like smiling, cheesing from ear to ear, little whack. But like, you would smile too. Is kind of my point, Pat. You would smile too.
I don't know. I'm not in that situation, so I don't know. But I think also what I want to say to wrap this up is like, I think a lot of people are getting this whole thing misconstrued and like they think I don't like Anthony Volpe. I think like if you watch this show, if you know me and you've like heard all my takes, bro, I like Anthony Volpe. You know what I mean? Like this has nothing to do with him.
Like people tweeting at you and reacting to this tweet. 0.5% of them maybe know you. And that's another thing too. Like there's probably a lot of viewers on this show that have no idea what we're talking about. So it's like in the end, the grand scheme of things, it's Pat's not getting canceled for his Anthony Volpe opinion.
But also, I hate to keep dragging this on, but one thing I do want to say, like, you know how you said 0.5% of people responding don't know me? Bro, Marcus Stroman doesn't know me, but he said, and I quote, Patrick, you're a loser. Bro. But I responded, I said, Marcus, that's why you and I will finish with the same number of World Series rings. Bro, I'm not going to let Marcus Stroman come at me, bro.
No, that was nice. That was a W. I think I liked that tweet because that was a good response.
He said I had a miserable life. Marcus, I don't, bro.
Here's
a happy life.
Pat, here's the thing. Just being real with you, you know, I'm on your side all this because I know you personally. I said this to you before the show. If I didn't know you and I saw that tweet, I would be coming at you as well. So I also give other people the benefit of the doubt too, is like, and in general, you never know the full situation. It was a crazy tweet. People reacted to it. To me, that's the end of it. And then we wrap it up here.
That's just Twitter
on the Yankees Avenue Show. Yeah. But no, Pat, you're not fired. It's going to be okay.
I hope not.
At the end of this episode, it's kind of a good one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Went off the rails a little bit, but we finally solved your controversy. I think we had to do that. So socials, where can they find you, punk?
Twitter and TikTok at Unhinged Patrick, Instagram at True Hennessy, and also, I'm going live on the Better YouTube channel all the time, bro.
On the Better YouTube channel. Yeah, shut up, Better. All right, Dan on Work on Twitter, Dan on Work on Instagram, Yankees Avenue here on YouTube and on Instagram as well. See you guys next time. It's a nice jersey, Pat. Where'd you get that?
Foco.
Let's go, Yankees.
Her body's going like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting, I remember. But we say we all fine, we all fine.